But it says we're live. So, hello everyone, and welcome to Top Gun prototyping. As you can see down here in the corner, we're going to be building ourselves an F-14. I have built the F-14 a couple times before in KSP, but well, first of all, let's get some music going. I have built it a couple times before, but this particular build is unique in that I'm going to be optimizing it for filming. So it's basically going to be an actor aircraft, not a replication aircraft. As such, I will be missing a lot of the finer details, as well as functionality. For example, it doesn't need radar, so if I can get away with it, I won't be putting a radome on it. And yeah, just general little things to get it to look the part, but also play well when I'm flying it against other aircraft and trying to record the outcomes. Because I have already built, and I can show you right now, the A4 adversary that it's going to be going up against. For my entire plan here, if KSP will... There we go. My entire plan is to, in-game, recreate one of the scenes from Top Gun. Specifically, the dogfight, the first hop, actually, between Maverick and Jester. So let's get that flag showing right. So this is the A4 that I'm going to be flying against. Yeah, shut up, expert. And same thing, I've optimized this with as very few parts as I can, with as close to the correct lines as I can possibly get. I did take a couple of liberties, such as this refueling probe, which I just think looks quite cute. But yeah, this thing, I have flown it many a time, and it is about spot on. Also, you might notice the Russian star is upside down. That's because this isn't Russian. This is... Hey Shield, always first. Nice to see you. This is the Top Gun adversary, which is never stated. It's just some Eastern Bloc country that has these fictional MiG-28s. So that's the A4. Let's get to building the Tomcat. One thing that that's gonna be tricky is this cockpit, because not only does it have to look good, it has to film good. Because with the way I'm planning on filming this, I'm gonna be jumping between game versions. This is version 1.05. So this is where I'm gonna have all the weapons and the major flying. But the cockpit shots are going to be done in the latest 1.2.1 version, where I can actually see into the cockpit. But if I were to do my normal thing of that, and then stack this third one behind it, that would have all sorts of clipping shenanigans going on with it. So, I'm thinking... Nah. Probably something along the lines of that. Should be good. Alright, now this nose. How do we like this. Alright, that music can shut up now. See, do we like the look of that? We like the look of that. Also, I've just got Google Images up here to get some photos and different angles, because I do want this thing to look good. It's not going to look like photoreal, because that would put too much of a drain on my computer. It is, however, going to look the part. I already know this is going to be quite difficult. However, it's nothing I haven't done before. Nope. That'll do for now. And I'll also post some live now notifications. There we go. Okay. Oh yeah, that's actually good, because if you see there's a little fairing behind the canopy, and then it blends in with the rest of it. Cool. So I should just be able to go shtick. Just like that. Also, I have been trolling through different images to try and get a good angle, especially right in there, between the central fuselage and the intakes, just to see what the fuselage does at that point. And what it does at that point is rather interesting. It essentially does something along the lines of this. Yeah, there we go. So, there we are. Except it goes more like that. There we go. See, you've essentially got a wedge that then flows back. If you can, even see my hands. You got a wedge, it goes back along the fuselage. Because the F-14 is quite a unique aircraft in that it doesn't really have a fuselage. It's got the cockpit, the intakes, and then what's essentially known as the pancake in between. In previous versions that I've built it as such, just a pancake. But that's not entirely accurate, because there is some substantial airframe there. It's just not a fuselage in the normal sense. Alright. No! Rotate, will you? Thank you. So yeah, buckle in. This is going to be a long one. That's looking good. Let's just get the pancake going nicely. I can add or omit sections of it as needed later. There we go. Yeah. Yeah. Let's try and keep straight which is the root part. There we go. Very nice. And of course, that's actually about the right length, I think. So we can start doing this one where it meets back up. Alright, this is gonna be finicky because it does not play well. That'll do. And this is actually where this aircraft gets the majority of its high-speed lift. It's from this central pancake. And just so that I don't forget, struts. Because last thing I want is a floppy F-14. Very nice. Now, and of course that is angled by about a degree or so. So just for landing gear, help me. Alignment gate. Angle this by just a degree. A single degree that I'm not going to actually do at this point because I've got to hang other stuff off it. So let's put it back there. And hang other stuff off it. Other stuff such as engines. Let's see. I'm trying to consider whether I should use the engine nacelle or the pre-cooler. I tend to use the pre-cooler because all these little vents and stuff here look like access panels. It just makes it look a bit cooler. But now I'm thinking could go that route. Let's see, we'll stick some engines actually on it just to see how she looks. And you just need to come about there. Shut up, XSplit. I know this is using a lot of RAM. That's looking pretty cool right there, actually, if I'm honest. Okay, so, yeah, and that blends into the contours of that nicely. So yeah. Oh yeah, this is entirely full of fuel. That is way too much fuel to have in this thing because I'm probably going to be filming with infinite fuel turned on anyway. And this thing needs to pull some pretty crazy maneuvers, so it needs to be as light as possible. Is anyone else here aside from Shield? Don't think so. Now we can use cool looking pre-coolers. next trouble is the intakes sweep up here and they narrow from both sides. And then there's the whole thing of them being canted like that. So... Well, I did have one idea. Let's first empty the fuel out of that. I did have the idea of using these as sort of guides for the intakes. They are sort of the right intake anyway, they're just not long enough. And I would like to try a built-up intake this time around. There is also this. I could use this. Possibly, maybe, no. No. That'll just look weird. Although, maybe not entirely wrong. Boy. Alright, let's just go for the built-up design like this. Let's see what we get. To about there. There's these pieces. If I can get them to sit right, because I can scale them down like that. And bring them in. That is too wide. Let's try 80%. See how that goes. And like I said, this is going to take a while because I want to get this as right as I can. That's a little better on the size. Right, come on. Work with me here. Well, it ain't terrible. It ain't too good either. Let's see. Maybe I can get a better sweep up on this. Let's just have it nice and long. like that. Yeah, I need this part. And like that. It's actually not terrible. That is not terribad. And if I angle this a bit, yeah. Oh, whoops. How much are they angled? Well, from the side they don't look too bad, but from the front they look like shit. I got an idea. Take that bit and that bit, omit that, and just build it out straight from there. Well, too much. Can I do this? Can I get it nice and shaped? Let's see. Nope. Let's try that again. Yes, XSplit. You don't have to keep telling me. Yeah, they need to narrow. They're not big enough in the first place. Ah, boy. You know what, screw it. It's only an actor aircraft. Let's just do what I should have done in the first place. That. There, that'll work fine for what I'm trying to do. Let's just go with that. Alright, now that we've got that sorted, kind of, need to come out more. Yeah, we'll sort that out in a minute. First of all, struts. I said struts. Here we go. Like so. And I think we'll do the tail plane next. Because I think I've got parts that will just about perfectly suit it. Such as this. Let's get two of them. Like so. They are huge. Tailplane on the F-14 is bloody massive. It's looking pretty good. And the vertical stabilizers are essentially this, right? Yes. Take them all the way up to 150%. Yeah, they're a little more stood up, but we can deal. And they are right in the middle, canted slightly. Yep. And at this point I'll also do the ventral fins here. Yep, there we go. Bit further forward than that. Fins are also further back than that. Nice. It's looking good. Now, I'm going to take these parts, empty out the fuel, of course. Not do that, because that's stupid. There we go. If it's not clear what I'm doing, I'm making the wing root. Because the wing root on the F-14 is rather interesting and precise. And no one's watching. Yep, I kind of figured that might happen. Well, KSP isn't for everyone, and neither is my presentation. Don't worry, this thing will get flying eventually. Just so I know exactly when at this time. And yep, das ist gut, ja. Yeah, that is very good. Don't know why I'm going German. There we go. And of course that bit is angled like so. Actually, before I angle that, I'll play around with this thing's positioning. Like so, so that I can do this. Bring that up by 5 degrees and bring that flat by 5 degrees. And that gives us that. It gives us the F-14 shoulders, which I just adore. Alright, so, as far as acting aircraft go, this is looking fairly good. And I think I'll play around with this a little bit. Like so. Just a little more contour happening. Just a scotch. I'm gonna change how this works, because I think the top comes down rather than the bottom coming up. We'll see. First, I want to get these wings in position. And if I can find a good photo. Yeah. There we go. I can see where the hinge is. Is about that far in. About right there. Okay. Hinge is in position. Yeah, the bottom comes down out of that. Actually, it looks like that comes in a few degrees and then straightens back out. So, just for landing gear once again. Now just eyeball it with the intake position. There we are. Whoa, that does not work. Let's try grabbing this from more of a fortuitous angle. You can barely see anything happening there. Oh well. I know it's there. Right, let's get back to these wings. Huh? big to make these. Gotta bring these in closer. But actually no, I've got to blend it more. I see. I'm gonna do a whole lot of reshuffling, is what I'm seeing here. But as for wing size, that is good. Now, that reshuffling. That's as far back as they go. Alright. They come to there. It's probably gonna screw me all over. Yeah. Completely screwed. But not for long. Ta-da! Bring them back to there. Yeah! No. I see what's happening. These need to move aft. Like to about there. These can move down a bit into the shoulders. And now I can fluff this out a bit with some more stuff later. But right now we are working on the wings. They're straight all the way in, so yeah. It's not too bad, but not too, well, I should say not too good, but not too bad either. And they need to go down. These are flaps. And nothing but flaps. The F-14 does not have ailerons. That's what we need. Yeah. And just because I'm perfectionist. Ah, shit! No! How am I hard work? Right. You come down there. Maybe not quite that low. Let's see, if I bring you up to 130 as well, how do you play? You play quite well. Now, let's dive in here and grab that. Grab it by the hinge. Bring it up. Oh yeah. Oh yeah, I like this. Now, nice to see you, Slicky Ricky, and thanks. She is actually very nearly done. Just got a few more things to put on, such as, let's see, can you guys even see that? Yeah, these slats here. Or, no, not slats, what am I talking about? Spoilers. Because, while the F-14 does not have ailerons, because the horizontal stabilizer authoritates both pitch and roll, it does have these spoilers on the wings that deploy differentially to affect roll at lower speeds. So let's just stick a couple of those on, shall we? And let's have them so the top surface is flat. Hide them in the wing like so. Now, so they come up when they roll down, and when they roll the other way, like that, they just disappear. Awesome. Because in the shot that I'm going to be recreating, there is one particular bit where you can see the spoilerons, as some people call them, deploying. And that's after Maverick buzzes the tower and makes that right turn. If you look, you can see the spoilerons deploying on the wings. This is so finicky. No, that's why, it's because it's angled a bit too high. There we go. Spoilerons. Now, let's just check wing sweep. Bring these out to full. So it's full forward sweep. Well, not quite full forward. That's full forward sweep. And it looks fan-bloody-tastic. And let's sweep back to full. Well, That's oversweep, so that's if it's parked on the carrier. Full military sweep is there. Alright, we've got some adjusting to do. Yeah. Does that break anything? Oversweep. Full forward. Nope. She be perfect. So that's the wings. Now, the rear of this tail. Because this pissed me off. Yeah, so top comes... Oh, God. I've got to fuck around with that again. You know what? Let's just reset all that. Because that's not too bad. Stick adjustable landing gear on there. Alignment guide. Just so that I know. So, reset that. What the hell? Ah. This is gonna be so friggin' annoying. That'll do. Now. No. That. Flat there. Bring them up. Nice. Now, we can add in this little bit. Should be able to do just one. There we are. And just because it's prudent, some more struts. And the air brakes. Hey, no. Place. Right. There. It won't have the middle bit, but it'll look good. So, that's the airframe. Just double check with the sweep. Love it! So that's combat sweep there. Now, Let's check. Weight and balance. Ooh. Well, I've got angled parts and KSP doesn't like that, so... Well, at any rate, I'll put some weight in the nose. Yeah, in the nose. I can speak, I promise. Put some weight in the nose. Got fuel in the wings. Don't need fuel in that bit. And there'll also be fuel in this bit. Don't need that. Put some ballast fuel in that. And in that. Because this thing needs to be stable above all else. And just because I want to, fuel dump. Okay, now, if my game will ever stop glitching, we can add the all-important landing gear. It's got a quite tall landing gear. It's a bit, well, not just a bit, quite deceptive when you consider all of the ordnance and tank and things that it usually carries. And but it does have quite a tall landing gear. And I'm really sorry if my commentary is just continuously dropping off, but I am concentrating. I'm not good at talking about things and doing them at the same time. You know what? I'm gonna just take down a spring on that so that it'll sit nose down, like it's in the kneeling position. Because if you ever watch F-14s prep for takeoff on a carrier, you'll see them actually lean down on their nose gear. That's not because they're under load, that's because the plane is actually setting, like, it's literally pulling up the shock absorber in the nose gear and holding it under tension so that at the moment that it releases from the catapult, it'll kick the nose up to give it that little bit of extra kick into the air. Okay, this is looking fan-friggin-tastic. And like I said, it doesn't have a radar. It's well, aside from being one of the most detailed F-14s I've ever built, aside from the intakes, but yeah. Wow, I kind of went overboard a bit. Just a scotch. And because I can. Gotta represent. Hate it when that does that. There we go. Now what's the any there? F-14 Maverick. Let's see how this thing flies. Come on. There we go. Whoa. That looks sexy. Alright, yeah, so pitch, roll, those spoilers I talked about. And I don't have yaw yet. Probably not going to put in yaw. Well, forgot to lock the gimbals on those engines because F-14 does not have thrust vectoring. And once we confirm that it flies good, I'm going to add hard points in tanks and things. Sorry if the frame rate's really shit, but yeah, there's only so much I can do. Right, let's pull the gear in. Very nice. Let's pull some G. Wow. It has got amazing low speed controllability. There's 50 meters per second and I still have full roll control. That almost never happens. Especially with my builds. And wing flex is minimum if at all. Alright, haven't bound action groups yet, but yeah, it's rare for real aircraft to engage their afterburners perfectly synced anyway. Let's see. Is Kerbal engineer? Nope, it's not behaving. Try and get that sweep up in the intakes a bit more. But as it stands, this is an acceptable actor, I think. I will have to limit its pitch authority though, because pulling 23 Gs is not exactly accurate. And the A4 that I showed off earlier, it pulls 5, 9 at max. Big badass plane. Now let's just see how much G this thing can actually pull. Nice high speed. Max pull. 31.4 Gs. Ouch. G-lock in humans is 15. That's the point of unconsciousness. Pulling 30 Gs? You're starting to talk about impact velocities at that point, as in broken bones. definitely gonna have to limit it. But let's see how she lands. Let's deploy flaps. And deploy gear. This is probably the worst approach ever. Wow, this thing slow flies amazingly well. Alright. Deploy those air brakes. It's actually very customary for F-14s to approach under full air brake. Because, well, if you look at it, it's tiny. Alright. Minimum throttle. That just looks fantastic. You know what, I think I might increase the scale of the cockpit, because I think that's part of what's letting me down at this point. Right, there we go. Nice high angle of attack. Drop it on down. Nice. Alright. Time to add a little bit of fluff to this. Such as the arrestor hook, because, you know, this is a carrier-based aircraft. What self-respecting carrier-based aircraft does not have an arrestor hook? There we are. Also, time to add some hard points. Oh, actually, we'll turn that around. There we go. Like so. Come on. There we are. There we are. Oh. And then internet went out a bit. Yeah, you could say you missed a bit. Like an entire plane. Just adding on some hard points at the moment. Nice. The hard points on the F-14 are similar to the F-15 in that they're compound points. So you've got small point combined with a large wet point, because you can carry tanks on these, although they're normally used for the Phoenix missile or AMRAAMs. Let's look in business. Can't forget the cannon. This is primarily a fleet defense dogfighter after all. Oh yeah, that's going to increase the size of these. Let's see, 1.4, how does that work? Point 4. No. There. That does look better, actually. Okay, let's drop this down. I'm just gonna get away with, yeah. That's looking a little better. It's got that sweep in it. So I think the nose gear is further back than that. It's about there. Well, actually, the pancake comes from the bottom of... Yeah. I don't really want to have to completely redo the entire pancake. You know what? It's an actor aircraft. It doesn't have to look perfect. It'll do what I want it to do. Just fly, look badass, and not kill my computer. Right, let's add in some weapon managers, an AI module, and start action grouping some things. There we are. Now, change some settings in here. There we go. And I've got all that set. Just bury those in the airframe. Let's see how she looks flying at full sweep. I was going to put some tanks on this. Oh well. You know, there's that nose down attitude that you always see them adopting on the carrier. Full military power. I forgot to lock gimbals again. Nice. That sweep is actually a little too far. It's a bit overswept. No biggie though. Like that cannon. The position of the F-14's cannon is really interesting. Being down here, not abreast of the cockpit. Because, well, the F-15 has it in the starboard wing root, and the F-18 has it right here in the nose. Why they chose to put it down here? Well, probably for ease of reloading and maintenance. That is answered my own question. But, I'd say that looks sufficiently badass. What do you guys think? Let's just let off some missiles, shall we? Yeah. Alright. Let's find a camera angle that is familiar to... Oh, God damn it, I can't turn the camera enough. Right then. Just have to go with that. Yeah. It's very Top Gun. Alright. Go back to auto. Sorry if this makes anyone dizzy. It's making me dizzy. Alright. Now, before I limit its pitch authority, let's actually send it up against the F4 that I have. Full Missouri. I'll even hide a radar in here, actually. Yeah, inline radome. And we'll set the wings to combat sweep. So about there. That's what Maverick has him set up when he goes into the flat spin. Well, I say Maverick. In the F-14, the wing sweep is controlled purely by the computer. It's not like an F-11 where you've got to lever to manually set the wings. The computer takes in data from sensors, not just airspeed, but dynamic pressure and things like that, and through all sorts of amazingly complex calculations that I've got no clue about, figures out, alright, this specific angle gives the best performance at this particular environment and moment in time. Generally, the rule is the faster you go, the more you sweep, but specific angles have specific... I don't know what I'm trying to say. I'm just trying to fill the air while I get things in position. A4 Jester. Oh man, I forgot to put Maverick and Goose in the cockpit of the Tomcat. Oh well, Jester, in you get. Yes, I did rename my Kerbals, because I can. In the latest version, you don't even have to go through the config files, you can do it right in game. Which is nice. Alright, now, Jester has short-range heat seekers and cannon, but he is completely subsonic, without a radar, and can only pull a maximum of 9 Gs. Off you go. Meanwhile, I'll be sitting here revving up on the carrier. If I am on the carrier, I should put my flaps down. Full military power. Wow, these brakes hold the ground. And to simulate a Rio, I'm going to set guard mode. There we are. Brakes off. Let's go hunting. And to make things a little more cinematic, I am going to set a cinematic camera. There we are. Up we go. I keep forgetting about that. There. Right. Flaps up, gear up. Cinematic camera. There he is. Team beat. He's on the scope. It's 2.5 kilometers out. 2 kilometers. Fox 3. Too close. Oh, it might track. Nope. Didn't track. Sidewinders. It's closing in. Optimum range. Fire anytime, Goose. If I gotta do it myself. Fox 2. Boom. Jester's dead. References for days, bitches! No, Jester keeps exploding. That was not fair. At all. Oh look, there's the rest of him. Alright. Let's see if I can just light him up with cannon. Oh no, oh no, oh no, oh no. Slow down. The F-14 can fly really slow. Like for a fighter jet at least. Can it fly slower than this thing falls? Yes, it can. Okay. Let's just go bore sight so I can get a radar guidance on this gun sight. Alright, come on. Boom! Great balls of fire! I will be making Top Gun references whenever the opportunity presents itself. Just so y'all know. Alright, I think I'm done obliterating that poor F4. Poor A4, even. Now, if y'all remember how the scene goes, in the opening shot of the F-14, dumps this huge white cloud behind it. Now that's a bit of artistic license that the filmmakers took. It's meant to look like the condensation coming off the wingtips, but what it really is just them dumping fuel. I want to recreate that. You kind of saw the A4 doing it before, but I'll show you exactly what my plan is. Because... no, just there. Go away. There, okay. So, I've got a lot of things. F-14 Maverick, let's go. So, BD Armory has... where are they? These things. Smoke countermeasures. Meant to be used against laser designators and the like. I'm going to use them to create smoke behind this aircraft. Just find countermeasures. Angle them to the rear. And hide them. There we are. Loading times, I hate them. Alright. Having two F-14s here will definitely kill my frame rate. So let's just recover that one. And go back here. There we go. Oh, forgot about that. Tweak scale doesn't play nice with loading and unloading. Ah, doesn't matter. We can deal. And I still haven't fixed that. Eventually I will. One of these days. Alright, let's go. Reach for the sky. Well, it actually looks like the G-load, if I don't go too fast, is quite reasonable. Alright, now let's just stick it on SAS. Let's see how that smoke generator looks. So like that. I know. Target self. Vehicle center of mass. There we go. So. Oh. Yeah. I am happy with that. Oh, and it even washes out in yaw like the real one does. Oh, I'm so happy. How badass is this? Well, I'd say this is an unqualified success. Time for a landing with the arrestor gear. I know there are mods around that add in real arrestor gear, I just don't like any of them. Mostly because a lot of them, A, don't work very well, and B, have a serious problem with texturing. It's like, they're coloured, but they're not textured. It's like, if you look at these, it's like all this stuff here, it's like, actually looks like it's an airplane part, not just a three-dimensional white rectangle. That's something I've noticed with a lot of KSP mods, is that so often they just tend to be really bland in their appearance. And they just look like plastic. I mean, it is the Unity engine, so there's only so much you can do, but, you know, Squad seems to do pretty well. Whoa, coming in a little short. Nice. And that almost looks like it's caught on a arrestor cable. Sweet. Alright, next thing. I'm going to put some things in here that at the press of a button, it'll do that hard vertical pull that Maverick does. Which means I'm going to need to do some serious shenaniganizing. Yeah, so that'll pull the nose up. I need to also drive the tail down. Because that's the key thing that I think a lot of people misread about that maneuver. Because, sure, you're pitching, but you're pitching very hard. As such, the plane actually, like, its motion lags behind its pointing. Yeah, so toggle, toggle. You know what? I'll set these to toggle too, just to get that pull. I'm going the correct direction for once. Also, I'll set these to deploy along with the air brakes. Actually, no, I won't, because that'll be extremely difficult to get working correctly, because, well, KSP doesn't like it when you have things that close to the center of lift. Tanks. That's what we need here. Under fuselage pylons, you must construct additional pylons. There we go. There we are. Nice. Enable crossfeed. Bring them up there. Don't know why it does that. It just does. There we go. Yep, let's bring those pylons up more there. Just so that there's a bit more clearance with the rear of these tanks. I know they are going to blow up if I land with them on, because that's just how the landing gear in this game works. But that adds just a little bit more character, I think. Actually, they are quite a lot further forward. Like about there, almost. You know, like that. Now I'm going to do the centerline ones because I don't have the pancake for it. Yeah, but that looks good. Gimbals. Not gonna forget them this time. Locked. Okay. I think we are good. Just get the right insignia showing. Oh, that's another thing. Can I stick things? Yes, I can. Okay. So, finally gonna get some your authority in this thing. If my game would stop lagging. And that'll do. And actually this time I'm going to take Razor out and put Maverick and Goose in. Cool. Yeah, full thrust, brakes off. Of course, it should really be accelerating at about 3 Gs because catapult. I don't know exactly what it is about the F-14 that I love so much. I just love it. Maybe because it's just so big and badass, doesn't care what anyone thinks of it. And it is a big plane. Make no mistake, this thing is huge. And yeah, it's pretty well G-matched at this point. Alright, so let's just get it flying nice and straight and level. Pickle those tanks. Yeah. Hide that. Set camera tools again. Oh, there you go, there's tanks. Alright. Now, let's test this pitch maneuver. And go. Yeah, not too bad. I mean, let's see what's actually going on here. Ah, the SAS is preventing it from going full. Alright, let's just trim it for straight and level. Oh, the Simpit is hosting me. Thanks. I would have thought I would need to have confirmed something like that, but okay. Alright, let's see. Pitch maneuver in... hang on. Maverick, hold the thing steady, damn it. Alright. Pitch maneuver in 3, 2, 1, now. Yeah! And then he would come down on him. Now behind him, the guy fell hard there. Get there first and nail him. Boom, just as dead. Oh, wow. Whoa. I couldn't have threaded that any better if I tried. Screw R&D. I don't know how many times I've blown up this entire KSC with different aircraft. Oh, man, I love how the tail swishes and lags behind the rest of it. It's awesome. This is by far the best F-14 I have ever built. Alright. Let's blow up some tanks. Kaboom! Yep, that's definitely a Maverick move. Buzz the tower. Buzz the tower. Of course, when Maverick did buzz the tower, he was going at over 400 knots with his wings swept all the way back. Meow. For the actual shot that I film, I'm gonna use the tower over on the other runway. I'm gonna stick Kerbal on top of that and use this to position the camera for a flyby in it. And just position it all up. Have the swept model coming in on SES like that, and just shoot past the tower. It should look amazing. And if you're all curious about what the hell I'm on about, those of you who are just joining us, the whole reason for me building this thing is because I'm going to be recreating one of the scenes from Top Gun. The dogfight training between Maverick and Jester. Including, of course, the tower flyby at the end. I'm exceedingly happy with how this came out. Also, when I was editing these Kerbals, I made sure to give Maverick the badass flag. So, let's see. How fast are we going? We're going Mach 0.8. Pitch maneuver. Yeah. Pulled 20 Gs on that. And slowed down a lot. That's not really what you want to do in a dogfight, though. Slowing down is the last thing you want to do, because the faster you are, to a point at least, the more energy you have, and the more energy you have, the more options you have. If you get slow and low, you're very vulnerable, because it's very hard to gain energy. Because in a dogfight, there are two main ways of gaining energy. You gain energy through burning fuel, i.e. lighting up your engines, or B, falling, trading altitude for airspeed. And especially if you've got an underpowered plane, you want to be as high as you possibly can be. And I think at this point, this plane is built. It can do everything that I want it to do. It looks amazing. I think we're about done. So, yeah, thanks for everyone who stuck around. And, yeah, this will be being exported over to my YouTube channel, so if you missed anything, just check over there. So, again, thanks to everyone who watched. I'm Scarlett, and see you later. Awkward silence. Oh, out of fuel. See ya.